Hello, guys. Welcome back to MedZone African Motives. We are still on our mathematics for grade 8 as we are preparing for the exams which are ahead of time. This is term 4, where you need to understand everything that is from your term 1, as you had all the topics according to your syllabus. So we're not gonna waste time, guys. We have got a typical exam question that we are going to add on the other question papers that we have worked out before. So for term 4, it is not about which question paper am I supposed to focus with. It is about revising typical exam questions as long they are for term 4. Right? As long it is term 4 test, revise as many question papers as you can, because they have a tendency of repeating these questions. All right. So this is the province of KZN, that is KwaZulu-Natal, that we are going to consider a term 4 test for our grade 8 mathematics, and it was a paper 1 and a duration of 90 minutes. All right, 100 marks. So actually it was this question paper. Okay, no problem. We're gonna go through and see what was happening. There are a lot of questions, which is typically good in terms of your revisions. You can master a lot of revisions as you are preparing for your examinations. So that is it, guys. Make sure you go through the instructions and information that you are given. On section A, which is the multiple choice questions, all right, let's consider what we were given here. They said, question number 1, various options are provided as possible answers to the following questions. Choose the correct answer and write only. All right. So what is that we need? The letter next to the question number. For example, 1.6, the answer is D, just an example. So that is it, guys. 10 marks for question number 1. That is what we are given. So 1.1, we are given which of the following numbers represent an irrational number. 1.2, a rational number. So once we understand rational numbers, guys, it is easier for you to understand an irrational number. Remember, rational numbers are those that we can express in the form of A over B. That is a fraction made or which is made up of integers. A and B being what? Integers. They're being integers. So meaning to say, when it is irrational, it cannot be expressed as what? As A over B, where A and B are what? Are integers. It cannot be expressed in that format. Meaning to say, these irrational numbers that we're talking about, we are referring to non-terminating decimals. Remember, guys, non-terminating decimals. All right? We are talking about those decimals that when you are to express them, whatever, maybe you're given a fraction, you want to express it as a decimal, it does not end. Non-recurring decimals. So we have got square root of 40 on A. Let's consider that one on our calculator. The square root of 40. Do we know this one? As we can see, it is something that can not be expressed in the form of A over B. If we are to express it as a fraction, it cannot be expressed. We cannot change this to be written as a fraction. It can only be this or an endless decimal. Take note, the calculator only represents the number of decimals that it can. It is a non-terminating decimal, it does not end. So that is an irrational number. So the best answer was going to be A. All right, let's check B. B, that is 40. So 40, it is a rational number because 40, it's an integer or whole number which can be written as 40 over 1. So that is can be expressed in this form. So that one, it is a rational number. All right, so we've got a rational here. 0 is also can be written as a rational because we talk about integers, so it is not irrational. Square root of 9 is equal to 3, which is a rational number. So the best answer was going to be 40 for irrational numbers. All right, so 1.2, which one of the following numbers represents what? Rational this time, which is written or which can be written in the form of what? A over b, where a and b are integers. Square root of 2, we cannot simplify this. All right, let's get our calculator. Square root of 2 is equal to what? An endless decimal, meaning to say we're talking about an irrational number there. Same as the square root of 10, which we are given there. We cannot simplify this. Square root of 10 is equal to what? An endless decimal again, which is an irrational number. Same as the square root of 5, an irrational number again. We cannot simplify this one. It is an irrational number. But if we consider the square root of 25, which is on B, that one, it is a rational number because it gives us 5. The square root of 25 is what? Is 5. So if this is equal to 5, it is the same as 5 over 1, written in the form of A over B. So that's a rational number that we have got there. All right, so that is the best answer, was going to be on what? On B. Take note. Understand the question, guys. All right. 1.3, choose the correct value of 30 times 4 times 2. It's a product. All terms, they're being multiplied. So it cannot have any addition in between. We cannot have any addition. Guys, everything is under a product. So we can have an interchange of these all under a product, just like what we have on C. This can be written as 30 times 4 times 2, as long as a product. Or we can start with 30 and what? And 2, 30 times 2 times 4. As long as it is like that, we can multiply 4 and 2. It can be 4 times 2 times 30. It can be 2 times 4 times what? Times 30. Any way that we want, a product is not affected. A times B, remember, it is the same as what? B times A. So it must be everything under a product. The order does not matter. All right. So the best answer was going to be on C. 1.4, which one of the following is the multiplicative inverse? Multiplicative inverse. So we do understand that the multiplicative inverse concept states if A is being multiplied to 1 over A, we must get a 1. A number to its reciprocal, the inverse, the reciprocal. So we have got negative 2 and 4 over 5. Let us have this as an improper fraction. Remember, you multiply, here you add. So that is the concept. Just ignore the negative concept or the negative that we are seeing there. Ignore the negative. Just work out the numbers. 5 times 2, which is 10. 10 plus 4, which is 14. But we know that there is a what? There is a negative. So it's negative 14 over 5. Or if you do not understand, use your calculator on this part, which is all right, which is on this one where there is a fraction there. All right, so we must have shift and access that one. So it's shift this part. All right, so as you can see, the fraction that we are given, there's part of a whole number and the part of the fraction part there. So we can insert our values, negative 2, all right, as it is, then 4 over 5, like this. So this is going to give us negative 14 over 5. All right, the same part that we are given there. So this is our A, the number that we are given. This is our A, this one. So what is its reciprocal? Because we are saying if we take our A, which is negative 14 over 5. It must be multiplied to 1 over the same number that was there. 1 over what? 1 over a. So it's 1 over this as it is. We take as it is, so it's 1 over that part. Negative 14 over what? Over 5. So this term a, this is what? It's multiplicative inverse. So we have got a number, then it's multiplicative inverse. So this is our number, and this is the multiplicative what? Inverse, meaning to say that we just need to simplify this part as it is, which we can just use your calculator, guys. Simplify this. All right, on our calculator, that is 1 over what? Open, just have a bracket there, open a bracket, you have negative 14 over what? Over 5. All right, close that. So this is negative what? 5 over 14. So this whole part here, this whole part that I'm indicating here, is the one that I'm simplifying. It is the same as negative 5 over what? Over 14. So meaning to say, if I am to multiply the number that I was given here, the negative 14 over 5, I multiply to this simplest value that I obtained, 1 over negative 14 over 5, which gave us what? Negative 5 over 14. If we multiply these two, we must obtain a 1. If we do not obtain a 1, therefore it means this one, it's not a multiplicative inverse if we do not obtain a 1. So let's prove that one. Are we going to obtain a 1 or not? Negative 14 over what? Over 5. Then we multiply these two, negative 5. All right, so that's a negative 5 over what? Over 14. All right, so that's a 1, as we can see. It gives us a 1. So truly, this is the multiplicative inverse, as it states that a number to its inverse must give us what? A 1 if you multiply. So the best answer, where we have got negative 5 over 14, was what? On B. All right, so that is the best answer that we are given there. Okay, let us consider 1.5. Which one of the following is the correct value of what we are given there? If we are to simplify there, we do not have any law that can connect these two. 2 to the exponent of 2 times 3 to the exponent of 3, like this, raised to the exponent of 2. These exponents are different. There is no relationship that we can use there. The bases that we are given, these two numbers, they're also different. If somehow there was something similar there, we can try to find a law to use. They are totally different, meaning to say we can evaluate each on its own. 2 to the exponent of 2 raised to the exponent of what? Of 2. All right? We multiply these two. 3 to the exponent of 3 raised to the exponent of what? Of 2. So that's 3 to the exponent of 3 raised to the exponent of 2. All right, which we can simplify further, as we do understand that is when we are given an exponent to an exponent, we multiply x to the exponent of a to the exponent of b is x to the exponent of ab. So thus we're going to multiply 2 times 2, which is what? Which is 4. All right, so that's 2 to the exponent of what? Of 4. Times the same concept. The 3 and the 2, these are exponents, multiply, combine together. So that's 3 to the exponent of 3 times 2, which is 6. We do not have any answer which is nearer to this. You can see that B, C, D, they are totally out of this. There is no law again to connect these two, as they have different bases. So what can I do? I have to simplify each. Guys, this is section A. Use your calculator. Just combine everything at once. Or you can simplify each. 2 to the exponent of 4, which is what? Which is 16, times 3 to the exponent of 6, which is going to give us 729. So multiplying these two, 16 times 729. That was going to give us 11,664, which is okay, which is on these answers, the best answer was going to be what? Was going to be A, like that. That is how you can follow up. All right. The others there is no law to connect, guys. There is no law to connect. So, okay, guys, somehow, let's say we we have got questions, all right, that we do not understand, or a certain section that we have covered, but you have got a query. You have got a question in mind to say, why is this done this way? Why is it not supposed to be done that way? All right. We have got the community section. If you check on your YouTube, if you're using your phone, whatever device that you have, there is a part of the community section where you can actually send a question. So you can actually take a picture of the question that you have got something. You can even work it down and send it there so that we see it together to say, okay, I think this can be done that way. Because the comment section, it limits us to say, some of you guys will be just saying, oh no, this one is wrong, this one is wrong. But you do not have a way to clarify to say how wrong is it. So using the community section, I want you guys to utilize that so that we have got a platform, we have got a certain place where we can bring out our own understanding. What we need is to say, okay, what is it you as an individual, what is it that you understand? All right. So let us take that community section to the use. Let's use it. Let's not fight. Let's talk, guys. We are students, we are teachers, we communicate. Okay, there's a question like this. Okay, this question you answered it this way, but I think it can be. Then we bring out a certain video again explaining that part to say, okay, according to what you are thinking this way, this is right or it is wrong. All right, so that is it, guys. Let us consider 1.6. Choose the correct answer for the value of what? The value of A. We need the correct answer there in the flow diagram below. So A is what? The input, as we have got the input, our rule, then the output there. So A is what you inserted in place of X. What is that you put in place of X to get the output of what? Of 7. So we can say y is equal to the rule that we are given, which is 2x plus 1, where the input represents the x values, the output represents the y values. So this is output. Our output is what? It is the one that we are given. We have the output. 7 is equal to 2 times, in place of x, is the input. What is it that we have on the input? That is A. So that's 2 times A in place of X. All right, plus 1. So we have an equation that we can solve for A. We have formed an equation. Let's solve for A. All right. So taking the 1 to the other side is going to be a negative 7 minus 1, which is 6. So that's 6 is equal to 2 times A, which is 2A, divide by 2, guys, so that we can obtain the value of A. 6 divided by 2 was going to give us what? 3. So A is equal to 3. So the best answer where we have got 3 is on what? On B. All right, so that is it, guys. That is it. Just work out with the rule that you are given. You can find whatever that you want. Is it the output? Is it the input? It depends with the question. Consider the pattern that we are given here with the constant ratio. They are saying there is a constant ratio. All right, so then they are saying X. Okay, so the question, there's no question here, but it is just like maybe find the next term, because that is the only space that we have. Are we going to find the ratio? So this question, let's say you determined the ratio because they talked about a constant ratio. So someone can use that to say this is T1, T2, T3, because there's no question. So you can even use the constant ratio concept term 2 over term 1. The second term to the first term. So it's going to be 4 over 8, which is actually 1 over 2. So if, let's say, you have got that as your answer to say my constant ratio is 1 over 2, or maybe you used another concept of your terms. Maybe you want to consider to say from this one to this one, I multiply by what? I multiply by, that was what? 1 over 2. To this one, I multiply by 1 over 2. Then to get this one, I have to multiply by 1 over 2. So 2 times 1 over 2 is what? It is 1. So the next term is what? Is 1. So you can also answer this question as finding of the next term, which is on A. You could have worked as finding of the ratio, which is 1 over 2. So in this case, both answers were supposed to be marked because the question there is not straightforward. All right. But as for revision, we can just find the next term there. All right. One of the highest degree of x in this algebraic expression. The highest degree, the highest power, which is found on x. So you compare, this is x to the exponent of 1.5 to the exponent of 2 to the exponent of 3. The highest power is what? Is 3. So that is the highest degree. So 3 is the highest number that we are given there. 1.9, the value of x in the equation. This one is what? So just solve so that we can know the value of x. For the value of x, when you're given x squared minus 9 is equal to 0, remember, we can solve this. Either we can do the factorization method, I talked about that, or we can take the negative 9 to the other side of the equation. So it's going to be x squared is equal to positive 9. It was a negative, so it will be a positive there. So to find x, we introduce the square root, the opposite, to get rid of the square. It is the square root, knowing that the square root of any number, it is plus or minus. Plus or minus. So meaning to say the square root of 9, it is not just 3, but it is plus or minus 3. So take note, in most cases, you just say square root of 9 is 3. Yes, when you are given a simplification, let's say they want you to simplify the cube root of 8 plus the square root of 9 minus 4 plus 5. When you are given something like this, you just take the square root as a positive value. You do not say, okay, here I'm going to have plus or minus 3. I've got two values. On those simplification, yes. But when you're solving equations, always know that there is a plus, there is also a minus. So in this case, meaning to say there are two values representing x, to say x can be plus 3. All right, it can be a positive 3, or our x can be negative 3. Those are the possible values. So you now check on the answers that are being provided, which one are we given? So as we can see, we do not have a plus 3, we have got a minus 3. So this is the best answer. On the answers provided, the best answer is minus 3. So truly, if we are to substitute that, all right, let's prove. Let's prove this one and see. In place of x, we substitute minus 3. Minus 3 squared minus 9. We must get a 0. Minus 3 squared, remember, a negative raised to the exponent of 2 is positive. So that's 9 minus 9. And 9 minus 9 is what? It's 0. So as you can see, truly, when x is minus 3, we are going to obtain a 0 as it is on the right-hand side, meaning to say that's a true value of x. All right? So that is it, guys. Do as many questions. Revise. Revise as many questions. All right? 1.10. The graph below shows percentages. All right? So these are percentages of people. Percentages out of 100%. Remember, percentage, there is this sign. So where there's a percentage, to get rid of that, we must divide by 100. Remember the concept, all right? So do not worry. They're saying these are percentages of people who receive social distress grant in March 2021 in South Africa. The total number of them in all, they gave us the total number of people, all right, which is 1,457,005. This is the total number of people in all provinces. Then there they did not present as the number of people, they presented as percentages, not the number. So take note there. They used percentage instead of the number. Then the question is, now from that information that you are given there, from this information, this diagram, the greatest number of social distress grant in one of the 9 provinces, rounded off to the nearest whole number, is what? The greatest number of social distress grant, the greatest. So in this case, you just look into the graph, all right? The graph started at 14.9%. Remember, these are percentages. Where is it the highest? The highest is at this point, the peak, at the peak, the highest one. Remember, they are percentages. It is percent, whatever that you see there, it is a percent. They are percentages that we are given there. But the question is the number of social distress, how many people are we talking about? So if the highest is at 21.4 in terms of the percentage, the highest is occurring at 21.4% of what? Of the total. These are percentages which were measured from the total number of people in all provinces. So this is the total of what? Of the given total. That is the concept. The highest, the greatest mark that we are given there, that is the on the peak value. The peak value is the one that we're talking about. So it is 21.4% of what? The total. So remember how to get rid of the percentage, divide by 100. So that's 21.4 over 100 of, multiply to what? The total number that we are given, 1,145,7,005. So that is the concept. So here it is just you guys and your calculator. But remember, they said round off to the nearest whole number. Round off to the nearest whole number. All right, so let's multiply on our calculator. We have got 21.4 over what? Over 100 times the total, which is 1,145,7,005. So this is what we're going to get, and we round off that one to the nearest whole number. All right, so let me just write the one that we are given. So it was going to give us 2,451,799,07 to the nearest whole number. This is the whole number that we have. So if we look into the digit after the comma, the number that is, after the comma, 0, it cannot change anything. All right, it cannot change this value. So meaning to say it was going to be 2,451,799. Then there is no effect because 0 cannot change 9. So this is what we have to the nearest whole number, which is the best answer there was going to be on what? On C. The best answer was going to be C. So this is how you simply attempt these questions. Make sure you understand the representation of the diagram. You study the diagram to understand. All right, so that is that was the concept, guys, on our multiple choice. We are now moving on to question number 2, which is basically on our whole numbers. They are saying on question number 2.1, consider the two, namely, all right, the two numbers, namely 96 and 448. 2.1, determine LCM and HCF of 96 and 448. All right, let us just express these numbers as product of their prime factors. All right, just 96. The smallest number is 2. 96 divided by 2, that's 48. We can also try 2. 48 divided by 2, that's 24. We can try 2 again. 24 divided by 2, that's 12. By 2 again. 12 divided by 2, that's 6. 2 again. 6 divided by 2, that's 3. We cannot use 2 this time, so we're going to use 3. So 3 divided by 3, that's a 1. All right, then we have got 448 divide by 2, the smallest number. 448 divided by 2 is 224. By 2, that's going to be 112. Divide by 2, that's going to be 56. Divide by 2, that's 28. Divide by 2, that's 14. Divide by 2, that's 771. All right, so as of the numbers that we are given, it depends the way that we want. If you understand writing these numbers as product of their prime factors in index form, we can say 96 is same as 2 raised to the exponent of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 2 to the exponent of 5 times 3. All right. Then 448 is 2 raised to the exponent of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 raised to the exponent of 6 times 7. So it follows that when we are to determine the HCF, it is the one that is common and must have the least or the smallest exponent, the smallest power. One, it must be common. The first thing, it has to be common and have the least exponent. So 2 is common. We can see it on the top. We can see it in the denominator. But which one is got the smallest or the least exponent? That's to the exponent of what? Of 5. So our HCF was going to be 2 to the exponent of 5, which is 32 on our calculator. Or we can simply take the numbers that are common. As you can see it, there is a 2, which is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So they are all made 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is our HCF. It must be common throughout. Whereas the LCM, you take everything that you see. But if terms are repeating as it is, you take where we have got many values. Where are we having many of these twos? These twos, they are here. 2 to the exponent of 6, the highest one. 2 to the exponent of 6. There is a 3, even though it is not common. LCM, you take everything. It is a multiple. It takes everything. So you take the 3, you also take the 7. As you can see it, take everything. So multiply this. You can even use your calculator at once, or you can simplify each by each. 2 to the exponent of 6, move aside, times 3 times 7. So that is 1,344. All right, as our LCM. So those are the two that we were required to determine from those two numbers that we were given. All right, moving on to question 2.2, we have got a question which we can use as under the rate. Remember, when you are dealing with the rates, the rate of a certain part. All right, so they are saying them a certain distance is covered in 3 hours, the time that was taken at an average speed of 120 kilometers per hour. How long the time are we going to take to cover the distance at an average of 90 kilometers per hour? Same speed, same distance, but the time is going to be what? I mean, different speeds but same distance, the distance that is being covered is the same. So you can use that one under a rate, where you can use, is it direct or it is an inverse. So let's take the time first. 3 hours corresponds to 120. The time of 3 hours corresponds to 120 kilometers per hour. What about the time that we are going to take to cover what? 90 kilometers per hour. What about that? I mean, which was being taken when we are traveling at 90 kilometers per hour. What is going to be the time? How long? So that is what we're given there. So if we consider speed, guys, we have got two people here. Let's say we've got two people. They are to cover same distance. Distance that is from point A to point B. There are two people. They are to travel from point A to point B. One is traveling at 120 kilometers per hour. Another one at 90 kilometers per hour. But they're going to cover same distance. They are covering same distance. So which one of these two guys is going to take a lot of time? The one who is traveling at 120 or the one that is at 90? The one that is at 90. The smaller, or I mean, the lesser the speed, it means the more time that you're going to take to cover the distance. More time. Someone is moving at 120 kilometers. That's the speed is different. You are moving at 90 kilometers per hour. You are going to take more time compared to the one that is traveling at 120 kilometers per hour. So it follows that it does not correspond. The bigger value, the lesser it is. The smaller speed, the more it is there in terms of time. So what type of a proportion or what type of a rate is it that we are considering there? That is inverse, does not correspond. More to less, less to more. That does not correspond. It's supposed to be more to more, less to less. That is direct. Okay? The more speed, the lesser time. The lesser speed, the more time. No, it's not supposed to be like that. So once it does not correspond, to say more corresponds to less, it is inverse. It is supposed to be more to more, less to less. But here it is the opposite way. So that's an inverse. Remember, guys, on the introduction, I told you how to simplify. On an inverse, you just multiply along. You take your values along. You multiply them along like this. 3 times 120. 3 times 120 is equal to, you multiply these ones also along as they are. That's x times what? X times 90. So we can find x there. So simply divide by what? By 90 by 90. That's it. So x is gonna be 3 times 120, which is 360. Divide by 90. That is gonna give us a 4. So 4 is equal to x, meaning to say we are going to take 4 hours to cover that distance when we are traveling at 90 kilometers per hour. That's a lot of time compared to the one who was traveling at 120 kilometers per hour. Guys, we are not saying travel whenever you're traveling, use a higher, more speed. No, I'm not saying that. This is just a calculation. Remember, we are not supposed to work out more to travel with more speed, guys. Use an average speed always, all right? Anyways, this is just for a calculation sake, for the sake of our calculations. 2.3, we are given that Nomsa's father wants to buy a new car, okay? Wants to buy. He can afford to pay 35,000 Rand as a deposit. This is what he can afford to pay as a deposit. So 2.31, they are saying, if all the cars were sold at 20% deposit, meaning to say you pay 20% as your deposit, what would the price of a car he could afford to buy be? What is going to be the price of the car? Remember, he can afford to pay 35,000. This is what you can afford to pay. What he can afford is what? It is 35,000. And on the cars that are there, they are being taken at 20% deposit each. Whatever car that they are saying 20%. So the deposit that is being offered, they are saying 20%. 20% of what? Of the original price of the car. It is 20% of the price of a car. So he could afford how much? How much can he afford? What would be the price of the car? Yeah, he can afford 35,000 as what? As a deposit, this one. It is a deposit, this one. Which is equivalent to this. So we are saying 20% of the car, all right? 2.31. We are saying 20% of the price of the car is what he can afford. 20%, 20 over 100 times the price of the car, which we do not know. We can just call it X. This is 20% of the price of the car, to give us the money that he can afford. This is the money that the true money that we are given, 35,000 as a deposit. So what is the value of X? So that if we calculate 25% of that amount, we must obtain exactly 35,000, what he can afford. It is not supposed to be more than this. So what is our X? So get rid of 20 over 100. You can multiply by the reciprocal or inverse. 100 over 20. Just interchange the numbers. 100 over 20 like this. So that was going to cancel. We have got our X. So multiply this on your calculator, guys. This is 35,000 times 100 over 20 like this. All right. So that was going to give us 175,000. All right. So that is what that is the price of the car. So remember, we are saying 20% of the price of the car. So meaning to say the price of a car, the car that you were supposed to buy was supposed to be at 175,000 if he can afford a deposit of what? 35,000. All right. So there are so many ways that you can actually work with. All right. Let's go to that type of a proportion where we can use the proportion concept. We can say that another way, so many ways. They are saying 20% represents what? Deposit. And this is our deposit, what he can afford as a deposit. So we are saying 20% is equal to the deposit, which is 35,000 like this. So what would be the price of the car? The price of the car is, it is always the original percentage estimation that we work with, which is at 100%. We know that it can reduce from that or it can increase from that. Or we can calculate whatever percentage from what? 100%. So the 100% represents the price of what? Of the car. In terms of a percentage, what is it that it must be corresponding to? Whatever that we have here, which is our X, is what? The price of the car. That's the concept. So if 20% is 35,000, which is a deposit, guys, what about 100%? It is actually a more value. So the more that we have, the more value that we have. The lesser value, the lesser amount. So this one, it corresponds directly. That's a direct proportion. The lesser value, lesser amount. The more percentage that we have, that's the more price or the more amount that we have. So under a direct proportion, remember that's where we apply the cross multiplication, where we multiply like this. So we're simply going to multiply 20 times x, which is 20x, is equal to 100 times this, 100 times 35,000. All right, so that's it. Simply divide by what? By 20 to get rid of that, so that we can remain with what? We can remain with x. So x was going to be whatever that we have here, divided by 20, which is going to give us the same value of 175,000 as before, as what we obtained before. So that is how we attempt these questions. So many ways that we can use. So if you've got another method, guys, like I said, we have got the community section. Let's use that one. Bring your ideas. Someone needs that idea. Even if you're just calculating alone, you're just working your calculations, you're at home, you're just doing your calculations alone. Then you see that this can help someone. Send it there on the community section. Someone can benefit from it. All right. Anyways, let's consider 2.3, which is 2.32. After paying 20% deposit, calculate the total amount of money he must still pay. He must still pay. What is the remaining amount? What is the outstanding to be paid? He has paid a deposit. This one is already paid. So we need what is to be paid. Remember, we said the price of the car is 175,000. He can afford 35 as a deposit. So the outstanding now, or the remaining amount, is simply going to be what? The price of the car minus what? Minus the deposit. What is it that we deposited? 35,000. So that is it. Just like that. So if we're to simplify this, subtract subtract these two, we're going to get a difference of 140,000. So this is the outstanding, the amount to be paid. So remember, the outstanding, it's a balance, this one. It's an outstanding balance, this one, which is actually something that you pay as a loan. It is like you've got a loan. You have to pay a loan. So a loan, when it is to be paid, there must be what? Interest. Remember that. Remember, you've got the car, you're using the car, but you're still owing. So the money, the amount that you're supposed to pay, it must be paid back with interest, which is the part we are given on 2.33, where they're now saying if the interest rate was 10% per annum, yearly, per annum, per year, simple interest. We are dealing with simple interest. Calculate the monthly installments. All right, let's forget about the monthly installment. Let's just focus on another part. If he signed a hire purchase agreement to pay the balance, what is to be paid? This one, we are supposed to pay this in 48 equal monthly installments. All right, let's forget about the question, which is saying calculate the monthly. Let's first work out what is to be paid, because this is a balance, guys, which is to be paid. Like I said, you take it as a loan, there's an interest, and they are said is what? It's simple interest. So what is to be paid? The amount to be paid after a period of 48 months under a simple interest, depending on the formula that you are going to use. A is equal to P into 1 plus IN, like this, or you're going to use the R over R over 100 times N. In this case here, it depends with your understanding. All right, but that is simple interest. So there is the accumulated amount, which is the one that we must focus on. What is to be paid after? What are we going to, the amount accumulated, it is going to accumulate to which value? Calculate that. Where the principal is the balance, the outstanding balance. All right? Our I, remember, that is our interest rate, as we are given the interest rate being what? 10% per annum. So that's 10 over 100 as a decimal, which is 0.1. And N is the number of years. They gave us 48 equal monthly. So in years, 48 divided by 12 is what? Is 4. So that's we're talking about what? 4 years. All right, let's calculate first the outstanding. The amount to be paid, or the accumulated amount. We were supposed to pay 140,000. This is what we were supposed to pay in actual sense. We're supposed to pay what? 140,000. But because we cannot pay it at once, we are to pay it in 4 years. It must have an interest. So that's 1 plus our interest as a decimal, 0.1 times the number of years. Remember, we said 48 months divided by 12. 1 year is equivalent to 12 months. Remember that. So we divide by 12, which is times 4 here. All right, so that's it. You can even use your calculator, guys, at once. You can simplify this. Inside the bracket, it was going to give us 1.4. Then multiply to 140,000. It was going to give us 196,000. Just use your calculator here, guys. Okay. So this is what must be paid. To be what? To be paid. He was supposed to pay this as the balance. He was just supposed to pay 140, but he cannot afford that at that moment. He can afford to pay it in monthly installments. So they put an interest. So this is the total now to be paid in all, with the it has interest inside. With what? With interest. The money has interest. But this is not our question. The question is, what is he going to pay actually? Monthly. Calculate the what? We are supposed to calculate the monthly installment here. Monthly. In these 48 equal months that we talked about, which you said is 4 years, but now we must consider 48 equal months. So just divide by what? By 48. What is supposed to be paid in total, this one? It is total. But what about monthly? How much are we going to pay? So that's the total of 196,000 divided by the number of months that we are given, 48 months. So in each month, I was going to pay 4,083.33 rand each and every month in order for him to own the car that is being paid in 4 years. This amount. That is how you play around these questions. That is how you play around these questions. Understand the question. Understand what you're given. All right. So they wanted monthly there. So there can be so many ways of calculating the total. Then after that, you calculate your monthly, guys. Just try to do that for the sake of revision. Let us move on to question 3 on integers. 3.1, copy and complete. We must complete this. All right. 3 plus 5 times 7. So they were just going to distribute by 7. Here 3 times 7, which is this one. Then 5 also is going to multiply by what? By 7. So we must have addition in between. All right. So that's it. This is what we're going to have there for 2 marks. All right. Simplify this, show all your working. Thus, we are supposed to actually not use our calculator there. So 3.2, there is the cube root So it is the cube root of what? Multiply these two. Negative times negative, that's a positive. 25 times 5, that's 125. Minus what? Minus 3 plus the square root of 16, which we know is 4. This is the case that I was explaining before. Remember, there was a question where we said plus or minus that time here. When I said here, when we solved x squared is equal to 9, then we introduced the square root, then we said x square root of 9 is plus or minus 3. It is on solving of equations where we can say there can be a positive or a negative. But when you are simplifying like what we are now having on this question, where there is a square root of 16, you do not consider that to say plus or minus. No, you just take the positive value. So be careful there. All right. So that's divided by what? Divided by 2 to the exponent of 2. That's 2 times 2, which is 4. All right. Let's just try to simplify a little bit further. The cube root of 125. The number that multiplies itself 3 times to give us 125. Or you can just say, can I write 5? I mean, this 125 in index form. So it is 5 to the exponent of 3. Then the cube root, it means to the exponent of a third. Remember, exponent to exponent, you multiply. So that's going to be 3 times 1 over 3, which is 1. So 5 to the exponent of 1, that is what? That is a 5. Or you can just, this one, guys, if you know the cube root of 125, that it's 5, just write the answer. We know this one, all right? Minus 3 plus 4 divided by what? Divided by 4. There's a division here. So we can use our BODMAS as we can see all the numbers properly. So BODMAS, do we have brackets? No. Division, multiplication, there is a division here. Plus 4 divided by what? By 2. That's a division. So that's going to be 5 minus 3. 4 divided by 4, that's 1. So this one is 4 over 4, which is what? Which is 1. So we've got plus 1. So do we have addition? Right, we do not have multiplication, so we move on to addition. Do we have addition? 5 and 1. Add those two, that's 6 minus 3. Then subtraction. 6 minus 3 is what? It is 3. So that is what we were going to have at the end of the day. All right, so just try to work out as many questions just to maximize your understanding. All right, it's all about more question papers, guys. Do more question papers. All right, 3.3, find the value of x from this equation that we are given. 3 over 2x minus 4 is equal to 6. So there are so many ways we can take the negative 4 to the other side. As we can see, can simply add 4. So that's 3 over 2x. That's a 0 there, which is equal to 6 plus 4, that's a 10. So there are so many ways, like I said, we can choose to do a cross multiplication. This is like over 1. So we can say 1 multiplies the numerator, this one multiplies this. So it's 1 times 3x. You take it like that. So thus 3x is equal to 2 times 10, which is 20. So that's a product here. Divide by what? By 3 by 3. So x is gonna give us what? 20 over 3. All right, you can leave it like that. You can simplify further. It is in your hands. Of which we could have answered this question here at this stage where we took this one to the other side and we've got a 10. At this stage where we've got 3 over 2x, which is equal to 10. Instead of us cross multiplying, we just ask ourselves, guys, we need to get rid of this 3 over 2. So what is its reciprocal? Just interchange 2 to the numerator, 3 to the what? To the denominator. So you multiply by 2 over 3 both sides. So this can cancel and give us a 1. 1 times x is x, which is equal to 10 times 2 over 3, which is 20 over 3. So many ways. Or you can simply divide by 3 over 2 as it is, direct as it is. Just divide by 3 over 2 both sides. 3 over 2x is equal to 10. This, get rid of it. It is a multiplication, so divide by 3 over 2. Divide by 3 over 2. Simply cancels. So x is equal to 10 divided by 3 over 2. In bracket, you must get 20 over 3. Guys, there are so many ways that we can actually use to simplify to solve such equations. 4.3 on common fractions, simplify this. The cube root of, all right, so let's simplify 1 over 3 squared. So we're going to square everything. So that's the cube root of 1 squared. It's 1 over 3 squared, which is 9, plus there's a 5 here as it is. All right, then we've got a product here times 1 over 3 cubed, 1 to the exponent of 3, that's 1. 3 to the exponent of 3, that's 27. So we can use the BODMAS inside of the bracket. BODMAS can be used inside of the square root. I mean, it's BODMAS, some they use BOMDAS, anyone. So bracket of division, multiplication, there is a multiplication 5 and 1 over 27. Multiply those two. So it was going to be the cube root of 1 over 9 plus, if we multiply 5 to 1 over 27 is 5 times 1, which is 5, over 1 times 27, which is 27. Then we add addition, add what is inside of the cube root. So it's the cube root of 1 over 9 plus 5, 1 over 9. Is it 1 over 9? Yes, 1 over 9 plus 5 over 2, 7 like this, which is 8 over 27. Then we can determine the cube root of each. As we do know, the cube root of 8 is 2. The cube root of 27 is 3, of which at that stage, you can even use your calculator, guys. Here on your calculator shift, there is a cube root here under where there's a square root. You press that one. So it has cube root. Then just press 8 over 27, as you can see, 2 over 3, just like that. On question number 4.2, we are given the price of petrol is set to increase. It must increase by 6% next month. If the current petrol price is 28.24 per liter, what will the new petrol price be next month? Remember, next month they are saying there's an increase. So just determine the increase, then add increase, you add, all right? So it's gonna increase by what? It's gonna increase by 6%. So the increase is 6 over 100 times the original price, which is 28.24. So you're going to multiply this 6 over 100 times 28.24 like this. So that was going to give us 1.6944. 1.6944 to 2 decimal places. We are dealing with money, so it's just going to be 1.69. So that's our increase. What are we supposed to add to the original price to give us the new petrol price next month? So the new petrol price is going to be the increase of what? Of 1 comma plus the original price. Remember, our original price was 28.24. 28.24 plus our increase, we add 1 rand 69. So the petrol price at the end of the day will be at 29.93. This is our new price. All right, of which, guys, this is mathematics. We can work out this one in as many ways as we can. We can say that the petrol price originally, where it is at 100%. Original price is always at 100%. So 28.24 is originally at 100%. An increase of 6% means from 100%, add 6%. Increase, you add. So it's going to be 106. So you ask yourself to say, at 106%, what is the corresponding value? What is the corresponding amount? We do not know that. It is a direct proportion. As the percentage increases, the money there has to increase. So this is a direct proportion where we do cross multiply that way. So 100 times x, 100 by x is equal to what? 100 times x is equal to 106 times 28,24. So we need to find x. We just have to divide by 100 both sides. So that is going to be our new price. If we are to use this concept, it was going to give us 29,93 to 2 decimal, 93 to 2 decimal places. Just like that. So we can see we've got the same answer there, just like the previous one. All right. Then we are given on another part, which is 2.3. Apiwe receives a pocket money of $500 daily. That is what is given. He spends as follows: 23% on fat cakes, this one on a cell phone, this one on drinking juice. Determine the amount of his pocket money that left unused for the day. The remaining one is the one that we need to calculate from what he had. What is the remaining, the man that is left? So let us just calculate. Out of the total 500, you used 23 of it, 23 over 200 of it on what? On fat cakes. So the fat cakes, you used 23 over 200 times the amount that is given, which is 500. So just use your calculator, guys. Let me just show you an example. 23 over 200, then times 500 like this. You're going to get this one, 115 over 2, then press the SD button. That's going to be 57,5. All right. So we've got 57,5, which you put as 0 there for 2 decimal places. So that's for the fat cakes. Then the cell phone, it is what? For the cell phone, we are given that it is 273 over what? Over 500. So 273 over 500 of them. Total amount of money that is having. So use your calculator again. You were going to get 273 rand. And drinking juice, 56 over 200 for the drinking juice. So for the drinking juice there, we have got 56 over 200. All right. So multiply to the total amount 500. You were going to get something like 140. So this is the money that you used on everything on that day. So what is the total from what he used? You must have the total of these. All right. So adding these together, we're going to have a total of 470, 470.50 as our total. So what is the remaining? Because the question is asking you about what? The remaining. That is just like a balance. Out of 500, how much is left? So the remaining money, the remaining balance that we're going to have of what he has is 500 minus what you use. Remember, 500 is all that he has that day as a pocket money. Then we subtract what you used, the total, a total of 470, 50. So if we were to subtract this, we're going to have the remaining, which is the change, or which is what is left, 470.50, or just like that, which is 29.9 out of 500. This is what he had left with. He had left with this one. All right. So those are the typical questions, guys. Revise. Do revise. It will be very easy as you just look at the question and say, this is the answer. Number 5, we are given calculate on 5.1. Calculate the following without using a calculator. So many ways. 0.35 times 0.05. We can ignore these. Just focus with what? The whole number that we see, which is 5. So 5 multiplies 5, which is what? 25. 5 times 3, which is 15. Then we add 2. 15 plus 2, the 17. All right, we do not have any number, so we just write as 17. This is 5 times what? 5 times 0 plus 7 plus that number that we had is going to give us 175. But we know that our answer must have 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. So as we have got 1, 2, 3. So we must have what? 4 decimal places. We put a 0 like this so that we have got 4 decimal places. Okay? Or we could have expressed these numbers as fractions. 0.35, 2 decimal places. So that is 35 over 100 for 2 decimal places. All right. Same with this one, 2 decimal places. So the whole number is 5, 5 over 100. We multiply as we are used our fractions. Numerator to what? To the numerator. 35 times 5 is going to give us what? 175 over 100 times 100, which is going to give us what? 10,000. So if we divide 175 divided by 10,000, we can move the comma 1, 2, 3 going to back. It is still going to give us 0.0175. Yes, guys, they say do not use a calculator, but you cannot say I cannot use a calculator to divide these two guys to have a decimal. If you do not understand, use your calculator somehow. All right, anyways, guys, that is what we have there. Then 5.2, just evaluate, determine this without a calculator. The cube root of 1, that's 1. The cube root of 8 is 2, plus the square root of 0.04. Guys, we do understand 2 decimal places like this. We must divide 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So our answer must have 1 decimal place. So what is the square root of 4? It is 2. But our answer has got what? 1 decimal place. So it's going to be 0.2. Or just use a calculator. No one is going to know that you have used a calculator there. What they do not want you to do is to simplify everything at once. But you can even use the calculator to simplify each stage. The cube root of this, you simplify again 0.5. How many decimal places? 3 decimal places. Divide by the number inside the root there, which is 3. So our answer must be 1 decimal place. So what is the cube root of 125? It is 5. So it's going to be 0.5. This one, it is the same as this one. So that is the same as what? 0.2. There are so many ways, guys, of finding. But guys, for 3 marks, use your calculator to find each so that you do not spend a lot of time in exam. All right. 1 over 2 as a decimal, we do understand this is 0.5 plus 0.2 minus 0.5 plus 0.2. We can see something common. 0.5 minus 0.5 can cancel. So let us simplify the remaining part. 0.2 plus 0.2, that's what? 0.4. 2 plus 2, that's 4. There is a 0 there, so it's going to be 0.4. Just like that. We can simplify each. All right. On question 5.3, they are now saying a car is on a sale for 108,208.89. The deposit is being paid. Determine the percentage of the deposit. Round off your answer to the nearest 1 decimal place. All right. They want us to determine the percentage deposit. So percentage, we do understand this one. We can even use that concept of the rate to say the car as it is on the sale, it's at 100%. That's the price of the car. So 100% is equal to what? The amount that we are given of 108, 290.89. So the deposit, it's a certain percentage from the amount that we are given. So that's a deposit of 13,245.62. So it is equivalent to what percentage here? That is the question. The percentage. So as we have got the higher percentage, that's the high amount, the lesser percentage, because a deposit, guys, is always a lesser value compared to the original price. So that's a lesser percentage. So it's less to less, more to more. That's a direct proportion, this one. So a direct proportion, I've already talked about this before. We do the cross multiplication concept. So that's 108,290,89 times x. So that's going to be x. Then we multiply these two. That's 100 times 245,62. So to find our x, as we have got a product, simply divide, all right, by what we are given on the left-hand side, all right? So that's simply divide here. Simply divide, all right? So that was going to give us the value of x. So with this simplified on our calculator, guys, we were going to obtain the percentage that they are talking about, and they wanted the answer to 1 decimal place. All right, so let's see, this is 245.62. Everything over 108,290.89. That's 12.23, 15, and so on. So they want us to 1 decimal place, so that's 12.2. 3 cannot change that one. So that's 12.2 percentage. Percent as a percentage, so we must put the percentage sign. That's it. So many ways, guys, that we can use. I'm not gonna go deeper into that one, as we have got so many ways of simplifying that. On exponents, we are given to simplify or evaluate, solve this without using a calculator. The cube root of -27, we do understand that's a -3, plus the square root of 64, which is 8. Remember, I said you just take positive values. Here, guys, be very careful. It's -4 squared. It is not like this, -4 squared in a bracket. If it was like this, it was going to give us positive 16. But this one, where the negative is not included as part of a 4, the answer is going to be a negative. So it's 4 squared, which is 16, but having a negative, all right? Divided to, or divided by what? 2 to the exponent of 3, which is 8. 2 times 2 times 2, 3 times. All right? Let's use our BODMAS. Our BODMAS can be used as we do understand the division product concept. So division, there is a division. These two, they are having a division. So that's -3 plus 8. -16 divided by what? By 8. That's -2. So we're going to have -2 there. All right. There's a times. Where did I put this times? There's a times. So we got a -2. All right. A -2. So we've got multiplication. These two are under a multiplication. So you multiply them together. -3. 8, positive 8 times negative. That's -8 times 2, which is 16. -3 minus 16, that's what? Minus 19 at the end of the day. All right, so that is your BODMAS. Use it together with your exponents, this and that. All right. Question 6.2, we are given x times x squared. There we can use the laws. Exponents. Same base, you're multiplying. Same bases, you add the exponents, a plus b. So this is 1. So you add 1 plus 2. So it was x to the exponent of 1 plus 2, which is what? X to the exponent of 3. All right, divided by what? The cube root of 8. We know that is what? 2. What about the cube root of x to the exponent of 9? Remember I said you can just take exponent divide by the number in the root sign, which is 3. Or we can say it is x to the exponent of 9 raised to the exponent of 1 over 3. So many ways. So many ways. There is a division there, which we can write so that we can properly see. It is just like this, x to the exponent of 3 over divided to this. over what? 2x to the exponent of 3. As you can see, these are exactly the same. They can cancel. So it is going to give us 1 over 2. Just like that. 6.31, we are given represent the following two numbers, this one and this one, in scientific notation, and write the correct inequality sign between these two numbers. Which one is bigger between these two? It's 59 million. 59 million is bigger to 17,320,000. So that's we can have in scientific notation. That's gonna be 5,907. We need this part 07. How many decimals here? One. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the exponent of 7 times 10 to the exponent of 7 is greater than here that's 1 comma here 1,732 to the exponent of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 10 to the exponent of 7. So that's it, guys. This one can be written this way. All right, then another part on 6.32, arrange in ascending order. Ascending, that's increasing. So we can simplify this. 1.25 times 10 to the exponent of 4, which is 12500. Or you can just use your calculator, guys, if you've forgotten this. 1.25 times 10 to the exponent of f4. That's 12500, right? 12,500. Then here 1.025 times 10 to the exponent of 4 is 10,250. You do the same for this one. 1.205 times 10 to the exponent of 4, which is 12,050. 12,050. That's gonna be 1.125 times 10 to the exponent of 4, which is what? 11,250. So in ascending order, we are starting with the smallest one. Which one is the smallest between these? That's 10,250, which represents this 1.025 times 10 to the exponent of 4, followed by what? It is followed by 11,250, which is represented by 1.125 times 10 to the exponent of 4, followed by what? 12,050, which is represented by 1.205 times 10 to the exponent of 4, followed by what? 12,500, represented by 1.25 times 10 to the exponent of what? Times 10 to the exponent of 4. That's in ascending, increasing order. But we must have those numbers the way they are presented from our given format, or from the given numbers that we are having there. So just try as an individual, work out as many questions. The more questions that you work out, the more you understand these typical exam questions. All right, so let's check another one. 6.4. So we now have question 6.4. Simplify. Let's try to use some laws, exponents here to evaluate. The square root of 25, that's a 5. X to the exponent of 4, we divide by 2, so that's x squared, times 5 to the exponent of negative 1, it's 1 over 5. Remember, x to the exponent of negative n. 1 over x to the exponent of what? Of n. Everything over, guys, the whole bracket, the whole term, everything is raised to the exponent of 0. When it is like that, it is 1. Anything raised to the exponent of 0 is 1. So there's actually like nothing at the end of the day. So we're going to just simplify the numerators together, 5 and 5. That's going to cancel. So it's x squared times 1, which is x squared over what? The denominator, which is 1. So x squared over 1, it is just same as x squared. Remember, anything divided by 1 remains as it is. On question number 7, we are given to determine or to extend the pattern that we are given. There is 80, 76, this and that. So let's check how is it done. You study the pattern. Always when you're given a pattern, you must study it. All right. You study to see what is happening from one term to another. So as you can see here, we subtracted 4. Here we subtracted 5. Here we subtracted 6. 80 minus 4, 76 minus 5, 71 minus 6. So we're going to subtract like 4, 5, 6, 7. We subtract 7. 65 minus 7, that's 58. We subtract like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we subtract 8. 58 minus 8 is what? 50. Every number pattern, every pattern, you study it first. You must study to see what was happening there. All right. If you check here, this is 3, 1, 6, 2, 9. It is a repetition of something here. Like we are moving somewhere like 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So if we wanted this one, it was going to be a 15. But we are not worried about that one. We are worried about only one part. As you can see on our question, it is only one line that is given. So the next term there was going to be 4. All right, it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and so on. So they can be typical patterns of that nature, guys. Study. All right. Study always. You must study what you are given, the way that you are given there. Understand, like the way that you are given, you study it. Which is the same part on question number 7.2. Study the pattern below. We are given this. Draw the number, the pattern number 4, 5 in your answer sheet, in your answer script. So as you can see, pattern 1, 1, 2, 3. Pattern 2, they are now 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. But they are still the same, these three as they are going up. But it is 1, it is 1. 2, they are 2. 3, they are 3. So what about pattern 4? There must be 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 as it is going up. But there must be what? There must be 4. There must be 4. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. So the same thing on pattern 5. There must be 5. These 3s that we are given, there must be 5. So that's the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one. There must be 5. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. All right. So we just have to study the way that is moving from that part. All right. 7.22, find the values of A and B by completing the table below. We must find A and B to say it was first pattern with the 3, with this number pattern, then number of dots. There are 3. The second one, there are 6. The third one, 9, 4, which is 16, 5, there are 25. So what about if there are 10? So what is actually happening here? You just need to study to say, how are the numbers going? If we say 3 times 1, what are we going to have? It is just 3. 3 times 2, it is this one. 3 times 3, which is 9. 3 times 4, which is not. 3 times 5, which is not that one. So you see, the pattern is not in that manner. All right? Then you try to say, are there any differences between these terms, which is the same? Between the output, the number of dots. Here, there is a difference. 6 minus 3, there's a difference of 3. 9 minus 6, there's a difference of 3. 16 minus 9, if we are to consider the difference there, it is actually of 7, which is not the same. Here, this one minus this one, it is not the same. That's 25 25 minus 16, which is not what we need there. There's a difference of a 9 there. All right. So this one, there was a difference of 3. There was a difference of 3. There it changed. So how can we have the illustration of our terms, guys, when it is like that? How can we have the illustration of the terms? Let's check here, guys. If we are to take this, we had 1 pattern, but the equivalent there is what? Is 3. So in actual sense, every term is being multiplied by 3. But the question is, it's pattern 1 giving us what? A 3. It's pattern 2 giving us a 6. It's pattern 3 giving us a 9. Pattern 4 giving us what? 3 times 4, it is supposed to be 12. So this one is actually an error here. One, like on pattern 4. On pattern 4, here this is 3, 6, 9, 12. This is wrong here. This is wrong here. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. They just wrote this one in another way, guys. That is where the error was on those two. All right. So meaning to say that part where we had a difference of 3, it was gonna work. I was surprised, guys, to say, what type of a question is this one? They just made an error because it's from this table. So this is 3, 6, 9, 12. This is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So let's correct that one. So if it is like this, therefore our Tn is simply 3 times the number, 3 times the number. So our number, if there are any terms, is 3 times n. All right? 3 times n. Or we can go back, since we do understand that there is a difference, truly there is a difference of 3, 3, 3, 3. So it means we can write our Tn, which is equal to, remember we said we can use dn plus c from our introduction, where d is the difference, the constant difference that we are given, which in this case it is what? It is 3. So Tn is equal to 3n plus c. To find c, we use any one of these corresponding. T1 is equal to 3, T2 is equal to 6, T3 is equal to 9. Remember, I talked about this. So using T1, which is equal to 3, we can substitute this one. T1 is 3, which is equal to 3 times n, that's 1 plus c. So 3 is equal to 3 times 1, that's 3 plus c. Taking this to the other side, 3 minus 3, that's what? Is 0. So 0 is equal to c. As we can see, if 0 is equal to c, therefore, our Tn is equal to 3n plus 0. There is nothing there being added. So that's 3n. Just like here, analyzing this way, we saw that it was going to give us 3n. Analyzing from this one, we saw that also it was going to give us the 3n. Then study the number. That is the pattern that we are given below. Work out the rule to find this 22nd term. Work out the rule. Hint, the rule should be an equation. Let's say we want to find the 22nd term. Let's say they are not saying work, they're not saying find that 22nd term. No. They are saying find the rule, work out what are you going to use to find that. So you can work in terms of a pattern or in terms of a table. To say table 1, has got how many dots, the number of dots that we are given. So it can be like that. The pattern number, which represents the tables that we are seeing there, to be your pattern number, just like the previous case where you had pattern number, number of dots. So you can work with that concept, or you can work with the number of tables. So that is our pattern number or number of tables. All right, our pattern number. Then the number of dots that are corresponding, how many. The pattern number 1, how many dots do we have? There are 4. For the second one, how many do we have? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 corresponds to 6. 3 corresponds to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 3 corresponds to 8. So we have something that we can use for the rule. The question needs us to rule. And it must be an equation. They gave us a hint. Your answer must be an equation. So the question is what type of a number pattern that were given there? Are we having a common difference or what? How is it presented in terms of the terms that we are given? So if we are to consider, there is a difference of 2 here. 6 minus 4, that's 2. 8 minus 6, that's a difference of 2, meaning to say we are talking about a linear. That's something that is presented in linear manner. Our Tn is equal to dn plus what plus c, where d is the difference that we just calculated of 2. So we can simply substitute that. Tn is equal to 2n plus c. So to find c, we can use any term or any number pattern that you're given, any table. T1 is equivalent to what? To 4. So thus we can substitute 4 is equal to 2 times our n, which is 1 plus c. So let's solve for c. That's 2 times 1, which is 2. Then 4 minus 2 is c if we take this to the other side of the equation. So that's 4 minus 2 equal to C. So C was going to give us what? C was going to give us 2, meaning to say that, therefore, our Tn, which is the rule, is given as what? 2n plus our C, which is what? Which is 2, of which there are so many ways of finding this rule that I explained, guys. If you check the introductions, I talked about that. So just go through the introduction so that you can also use different methods and check if the answers are the same. So if we are to consider another part, which is in this case, all right, let's see, that is question number 8. That is our algebraic expressions, 10 marks, all right? So we are given that x is minus 3, y is 4. Find the numerical value. So we need this part, which in this case, we can substitute in place of x. We put the minus 3, so 3 into our x, which is minus 3, but it is raised to the exponent of what? Of 2. All right, then we also have plus 4 times, that is xy there, 4xy, it means 4 times x, which is minus 3 times y again, which is 4. So that's a product. We multiply 4 times x times y. So let's simplify. 3, remember, a negative when raised to an even exponent is going to be positive. So that was going to be positive. 3 times 3. 3 squared means 3 times 3, which is what? 9. So that's a positive 9 plus 4, which is multiplying negative 3 and a positive 4. So this one is a positive. So guys, positive to a negative, that's a negative. The negative to a positive is going to give us what? A negative. Negative times positive. So we are going to have a negative at the end of the day. All right, so multiply the numbers. 4 times 3, which is 12. Then 12 times 4, that was going to give us 48. All right, let's multiply 3 and 9. That's 27 minus 48, of which you can just use your calculator, guys. That's negative 21. All right, so that's it. That's it. That's it. We've got the numerical value of that given expression. So 8.2, it is now to simplify this expression. So simply divide by 2x each and every term. Remember, we talked about these type of expressions, guys. So we've got 6x to the exponent of 3 over 2x plus 2x squared over 2x each and every term. Then there is a 4x there over what? Over 2x. So that was going to be 6 divided by 2, which is 3 x into x squared into x cubed. There are three of them. X times x over x. You cancel one. So 2 are remaining, which is x squared. All right, plus 2 and 2 is going to cancel. That's 1. X into x squared. There are 2 of them. We divide by only 1x. So we're going to remain with 1x. So it was going to be 1x, of which 1x is same as what? It is same as x. 4 divided by 2, that's a 2x, and x cancel, that's a 1. So 2 times 1 is simply what? It is simply a 2. All right? It is simply a 2. So just like that, you're done. So the answer was going to be 3x squared plus x plus 2. Then simplifying 8.3, there we had got with 4 marks, all right? The square root of these are like terms, guys. X to the exponent of 24, they are the same. So we can simply add the numbers that we are given, the coefficients, which is 64 and 36. So that is 100. X to the exponent of 4. We are talking about what? Like terms. You add the coefficients, all right? Minus the square root of 16. Like I said, when it is like this, simplification, you just take the positive values. So square root of 16, which is 4. The square root of x to the exponent of 24 simply means you divide by 2. So that's x to the exponent of what? Of 12. Plus 2 there is going to be raised to the exponent of 2. All right. X to the exponent of 6 also is going to be raised to the exponent of 2. So 2 to the exponent of 2, that's 4, times, remember, exponent to exponent, you multiply. So 6 times 2 is what? Is 8. You multiply this A and B. That's x to the exponent of AB. All right. Where am I getting the 8? I'm multiplying 6 times 2, which is 12. 6 times 2, which is what? 12. So that's 4x to the exponent of 12. So that's it. Without further simplification, guys, we can see that these two, they are the same. They can cancel. A minus and a plus. Minus 4 plus 4. These are like terms. Take note. So they can just cancel. Minus 4 plus 4. That's a 0 there. And we've got the square root of what? 100, which is 10. Square root of x to the exponent of 4. Remember, square root you divide by what? By 2. The exponent you divide by 2. So that's x squared. So it was going to be 10x squared at the end. That is what you were going to have at the end if you were to simplify this further. All right. Anyways, let us check another part of the question. For 9 marks on our algebraic equations, where we are given in this case to, all right, given that y is equal to this, complete the table. We need A, remember x is our input, and we've got y there as our output. Substitute x, A there. So that is y represents our A. Minus 3x plus 7. Minus 3, our x is what? Is minus 1. Minus 7. So A is equal to minus 3 times minus 1, which is 3. Minus 7. 3 minus 7 is minus 4. So our A there is negative 4. B represents x. It is the x value. We are given minus 13 as the y value. So minus 13 is equal to minus 3x. Minus 3, what represents x is b, minus 7, all right? Taking the minus 7 to the other side of the equation, or just add 7 both sides of our equation, that was going to be minus 3b is minus 13 plus 7. that was going to give us negative 6. If we are to simplify this, divide by negative 3 to get rid of this negative 3 so that we can obtain our b. That was going to be 6 divided by 3, which is 2. So our b there was going to be 2. Right, the same thing, guys, on finding c. C represents the x value. So we are given the y value just like on this case. So minus 58, that's our y value, is equal to minus 3x. Our x is represented by what? By c. Or you can use x, it's still fine. All right, add 7 both sides of our equation so that we can get rid of this. That's minus 3c is minus 58 plus 7, which is minus 51. So divide by negative 3 both sides of our equation. That's our c was going to give us 17. All right, so c there is 17. All right, so that is it, guys. As we can see, it was just something a little bit direct. All right, on question 9.2, we're given to solve this equation. All right, that's a linear equation where we just have the brackets to expand 2 into x minus 1 plus 3 is equal to 3x. So distribute by 2 each term that we see inside of the bracket here. That was going to be what? 2 times x, which is 2x, 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2. The plus 3 is on its own. So we're just going to add that 3. That is equal to 3x. Yes, we can collect the like terms, this one to the other term, or you can simply evaluate first on the left-hand side as we have got these two terms, which are the constants. They can be combined together. So that's 2x is, all right, a negative 2 plus 3, that's positive 1. 3 minus 2, that's 1, equal to 3x. So we can choose to take this and take this. It's up to you, or you can just take the 2x to the other side of the equation. So it's going to be 1 is equal to 3x minus 2x. It was a positive, so it's going to be a negative. So that's 1 is equal to 3 minus 2, which is 1x. So that's it, guys. We have got our x value, which is 1. So x is equal to what? X is equal to 1. And that equation that we are given, it's a linear equation, guys. Just issue of working with the brackets. Then you solve as usual. All right. There we are given not to find x, but to determine this. But when we have this equation, if this 3 times 3 to the exponent of x minus 1 is equal to, if we are given this, then determine this. So for us to determine this part, all right, let me write it down here. The 8 to the exponent of x plus 3. For us to determine this, we must have the value of x first. So you must calculate x first. Solve for x first. So how can we solve for x? All right. This is an exponential equation. 3 times 3 to the exponent of x. So we can choose to take the minus 1 to the other side. As we can see, it has nothing to do with this part. So it is 3 times 3 to the exponent of x equal to what? The negative 1 to the other side is going to be positive. 3 is multiplying 3 to the exponent of x. So get rid of the 3 by dividing by that one. This is going to be 3 to the exponent of x, which is equal to 1 over 3. Can we write 1 over 3 as 3 to the exponent of a certain number? We know that 1 over x is x to the exponent of negative 1. So if it is 1 over 3, it means 3 to the exponent of what? Negative 1. From that, we can see that the denominators, these bases are actually the same. This base here to this base. So we can equate our exponents, which is, we can say that our x is equal to what? -1. That's the value of x from this equation. But the question is not about solving this equation. We had to solve because there is x here on what we are being asked to determine. There is x there. So we needed an equation to find that x. So we have the x. So substitute back. So that's 8 to the exponent. In place of x, we substitute -1 plus 3. All right, so that is going to give us 8 to the exponent of -1 plus 3, which is 2. 8 to the exponent of 2, that's 8 times 8, which is what? 64. All right, so that is what we were going to have at the end of the day. We just need to evaluate everything, determine whatever that you're given. But if there is an equation, solve the equation first so that you've got x value, then simply substitute in whatever part that you're given. On question number 10, we are given the function which is given this equation of y is equal to -1 over 2x squared minus 2. So the question was to copy and complete the table. So we just need to substitute A to find B, and to find C. And they're saying hint. There's a hint that we're given. C, he has 2 values. So if they give you like this, you must you have 2 values there. So let's see. The A that we are given is the output, the Y value. So substitute X, which is what? Which is -3. So that is A in place of Y there is equal to -1 over 2 into X, which is -3 squared minus 2. So you can simplify this direct on your calculator, guys. This one is not about evaluating stage by stage. You can use our calculator there. -1 over 2, open the bracket, -3, close that one, square it, then -2. That is -13 over 2. Or you can write as negative, you can have it as a decimal, guys, if you want. You can have it as a decimal, -6.5, whatever way that you understand. All right, so that is our A there. Then as for B, we do the same thing. B represents the Y value. So B is equal to -1 over 2. Our X is what? -1. So that's it. We are simply going to substitute in place of X this time. We are going to put -1. So that was going to give us -5 over 2. All right, so that is it. We have got the value of B. Then as for C, it represents the X value, where we have got the Y value, which is what? -4. So we have got the Y value. -4 is equal to -1 over 2x squared minus 2. So that's, we've got an equation there. So C, we can just write C in place of x squared. Remember, C in place of x, you can write that one as a C. You can write as x. It's up to you. So you can solve for C. Take rid of the -2. We can add 2 both sides of our equation. So that's -half C squared equal to -4 plus 2. That's -2. All right. In order for us to get rid of this, we just need the inverse, the -1 over 2. So you multiply by -2 over 1, multiply by -2 over 1. So that's going to cancel this one, and we've got C squared equal to -2 times -2 over 1. This is -2 over 1. All right, so it was going to give us a 4. So if 4 is equal to c squared, to find c, we must get rid of the square. We introduce the square root. We are back to that question that we solved, if we still remember, on our multiple choice, when we talked about that the square root of a certain number must be plus or minus when you're dealing with equations. So that's plus or minus 2. So that is why here they are saying there are actually two values. Hint, C is what? Two values. So there is a plus and a minus there for the square root. So that's our C. Can be written as 2, or we can say our C is what? Minus 2. Two possible values for a square root. All right. So that was it on this part. We can see that we have calculated all A, B, and what? A, B, and C from what we were given. 10.2, it is the same concept again, because they gave us a certain, study the table that we are given, of which it's, cannot say it's a table, it's still fine, right? Given below, and then determine the general rule or the equation in terms of x. This is not about the general rule, guys. It was just the way they asked the question, it is wrong. We already have the rule in this case here. So this is when we are given in terms of x, we can have it in terms of x and y, whatever the way that we are given. But here what we are supposed to know, that these are the input, these are the output. What are we supposed to calculate here? It was to find A and to find B. That was supposed to be the question, not this question that they are giving us. It was just an error there. Anyways, let us consider if we input 5, the output is A. So if we put 5 in place of n, minus 2 times 5 to the exponent of 2 minus 3, the answer is our output, which is what? Which is A. Just like that. So just like the previous question here, we can just use our calculator. There is no need for us to show how mathematical we are. When it is like this, we can just use our calculator. That's negative what? 53 is equal to A. So that is it. If we insert 5 in place of n, our answer is negative 53. That is what it means. So what if our output is negative 165? What was the input there, the B? If we put in place of n minus 2, in place of n there, we put B in place of n. So it's going to be B squared minus 3. We inserted in place of n the input, which is B. Our output, which is the answer, if we put this B, we must get what? Negative 165. It is an equation that you have formed. Solve for that. That is why they're telling you that B is two values. Just like the previous case, because it was a quadratic type of an equation where there was a square. It is the same thing where we are given the square of B, where we are going to need the square root. So anyways, let's get rid of the negative 3. We can simply add 3 both sides of the equation. So that's minus 2b squared equal to minus 165 plus 3. If we are to simplify that, that was going to give us negative 162. So divide by negative 2. That's a product there. So simply divide by what? The negative 2. So that's b squared is equal to what? If we are to divide, that is going to give us what? 81. All right. So b squared is 81. What about b? Introduce the square root to get rid of the square. So meaning to say b is equal to square root of any number, remember, plus or minus. So that's plus or minus the square root of 81, which is 9. So that is why they are telling us we must have two values representing b, meaning to say our b can be a positive 9 or our b can be a negative 9. There are two possible values when we are dealing with any equation. It is different from the simplification where you just use one value. All right. Let's consider question 11. Below is the graph showing the number of accidents at an intersection during a particular year. So there are accidents that are happening, and that's the graph that you need to analyze. All right. So we are given from this graph, is the above graph linear or non-linear? So this one, as you can see, guys, just like a zigzag concept that we are seeing there. It is non-linear that we are dealing with. All right. So we must be very careful the way that we are simplifying. So that is, you just need to study the diagram, the way that is given, the graph, the way that the graph is given. Then they are saying on 11.12, which month has the least number of accidents, the least, that is the smallest number. According to the graph, we can see that the lowest value is here. That is the lowest compared to any other value that we are given, which is occurring in the month of February. So that is what we are going to have there. Then 11.13, which month has the greatest, which is the highest number of what? Of accidents. The highest, the greatest number. So we look into the graph. The highest number, as you can see on top there, this is the highest compared to anything, and that is happening in what? In December. So that is, it is happening in December, and they are saying, explain why is it that we have got highest number of accidents in December. Remember, December, that's a festive season. That's a festive, a holiday season, which is much like almost everyone is on a holiday. So that's an effect of that one. Then 11.21, copy and complete the table of ordered pairs below where y is equal to this. So just substitute, guys, as you can see, these are x values. Substitute into the equation y is equal to minus x plus 2, where x is -4. In place of x, we are going to put -4 there. All right, then we add 2. So negative to negative, that's a positive. So we've got 4 plus 2, which is 6. So that's 6 here. When our x in this case is a 0 there, you put a 0 there, of which, guys, we cannot say -0 or +0. 0 is just a 0. So that's 0 plus 2, which is 2. When our x is this time a 5, we put a 5, negative times 5, that's -5 plus 2, which is -3. All right, then after that, they want us to represent this on the graph, on the grid which was provided, and I did not put that grid. Very sorry for that. I'm just gonna try and just have a sketch. There was actually a grid. It's only that I did not insert the grid on my preparation, but it was just going to be like this. The x and y values, definitely going to have a scale, 1, 2, 3, and so on, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -1, -2, -3, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, somewhere there. All right, then you mark your points. -4 and what? 6. -4 on the x, 6 on the y values where they meet. So it's going up, and this one there, where they meet, you mark a point. So you're just going to, on your graph there, you mark your point, -4 versus 6 on the y values. 0 versus 2, it means the 2 is on the y values direct in the y-axis at 2. You mark that one. 5 on x, minus 3 on y. So 5 on x minus 3 on y, they meet at this point where they meet the 5 and the minus 3. You mark a point. Then you are going to join those points using a ruler. A straight line was going to be formed. It is just that I did not insert the graph part, but you're going to have something of this nature. So that was it for this question paper. As I said, it was a lot of things, and it was good that it brings like everything that we had since we started our grade 8. That was a nice revision, even though there was a lot of things. So let us hope with time we are going to revise another one or other question papers again, which are specifically for our term 4. Like I said, as an individual, do revise as many question papers as you can. You will see that it will be just a repetition in exam. They do repeat same formality. So revise as many as you can. So that is it, guys. Till we meet again.